Hey, so I thought it would be fun if I got to share a little bit of my own accent with the rest of you guys. Uh, but given that I've spent a good deal of time living in North Carolina and I grew up in Michigan, my accent is a little bit different from what most people would expect from my region, but I'll try to explain some of the differences as best I can. And the first one I can think of is how earlier I said you guys. Most of the time, I personally would say y'all. That's a southern thing. Most folks from Michigan actually, first off, don't call each other folks and don't say y'all, they say you guys, even if they're talking to a group of women. But I also wrote down on some note cards the words that I'm going to be saying that's going to be different from what most people pronounce words and what I would identify a Michigan or Midwestern specific accent. The first is the word root. This would be like a tree root or a plant root. And the different part in there is the double O, where some folks say rut, like R-U-T, but for me and for most people around here, it's root. And the second is the word route, which a lot of people say as root, like the previous word. And now route here is like I'm going, like I had a paper route when I was little to make money, because that's what I do. Anyway, there's route. Another one, which I have been told is the most different part of a Michigan accent, is the way we say the O in words like dock. I've heard it pronounced like dock, but most of the time when people point this out to me, it's like, yeah, that's dock, and they're like, oh, you're saying that weird. I'm like, no, I'm not. That's how you say it, is dock. Another word is pop, as in a soft drink or a soda, as it's mostly called. That's like the big argument for everybody in the United States as to whether or not it's pop or soda, or if you're from like Texas, whether it's Coke, even though Coke is a brand name. Me personally, I usually identify what I want. Most of the time it's Dr. Pepper or root beer. But the general word for a carbonated beverage in Michigan and in the Midwest is pop. And another word for that would be caught, as in I caught my brother eating all my chocolate yesterday. I've heard this compared to how most people say the word cot, like C-O-T, like the thing that you sleep on. And I guess people from not Michigan say this word differently, but I say it cot. Another big difference is the way we pronounce our T's, especially T's in the middle of the word. Sometimes they're like shortened, what's called a glottal stop. Most of the time that's how people would describe how British people say their T's, like Harry Potter. But it's a little more subtle than that, like in the word apartment. Like, I don't say it apartment, it's apartment. So I would probably say it the same where it's spelled without the T. Another example of middle of the word T's is in little, whereas they're pronounced with D's and not T's. It's not little, it's little. Let's go to this word, two. When I see it here, it's two, like the number two, or two as in T-O-O also. But when I say it in the middle of a sentence, it's like tuh, like I'm going to the store. Another with the differences in the T's is demonstrated in Cantalope, where there is no T at all. There's no glottal stop, and it's not pronounced as a D. It's like the T is not there. It's Cantalope. And then lastly, what I can think of the most are words that end in ing. The G is cut off more often than not. Like running, it's not running, it's running more often than not. Or in warning. And that's all I got.